punitive damages against Moscow over the Ukraine invasion. We are USA Radio News.
Hey team, it's a full house. We got to pick up the pace.
At Hank's restaurant, the line goes around the block.
This for 12? Okay, I need the truffle oil drizzle.
What he needs is another line cook.
Oh man, are the quail breasts still in the sous vide? Dave, can you keep an eye on that, please?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
You need an accurate thermometer to check for fever, a potential sign of flu or COVID. Be vigilant and contact your medical provider at the first sign of fever. Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer has been proven accurate in more than 100 clinical studies. Exergen Temporal Scanners are available at Walmart and other fine retailers. Learn more at Exergen.com. That's EXERGEN.com. Exergen is changing the way the world takes temperature.
The Ocala Golf Club, one of Ocala's premier golf courses, from its pristine 18-hole course layout to its amazing pro shop. Jason Linhart and the staff at Ocala Golf offer everything that you need for your golf outing. That's the Ocala Golf Club. Experience country club-style golf at municipal prices. You won't go wrong with the Ocala Golf Club. Call them for a tee time today, 352-401-6917.
You're getting ready to move and you work hard. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. You need pros. Trained professional moving experts to do the heavy lifting for you. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. They care about your things as much as you do, and they do it fast and right. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. Visit twomeninatruck.com and get moving.
Two Men in a Truck.
Ugh, what wrong?
Ugh, need wood for fire.
Ugh, I go get. Ugh, I got wood for fire.
Ugh, what takes so long?
Had to use restroom. Someone not refill toilet paper.
Ugh, my bad. You wash hands?
Ugh, of course. Ugh, what caveman you take me for?
You know, Dan, people who save money by switching to Mike Scott Plumbing sure are happy.
Well, Brittany, how happy are they?
Happier than a caveman with indoor plumbing.
Yep. Get happy. Get Mike Scott Plumbing. If water runs through it, we do it. 237-2888.
Howdy folks, RL here for Dairy Queen again to tell you about what's hot and what's not. Dairy Queen has some of the best char-grilled chicken breasts on earth, as well as their chicken breast salad. And the burgers are exceptional, cooked on a real grill for the best flavor and less fat. And for dessert, blizzards are unequaled. Personally, banana split is my all-time favorite. Dairy Queen Silver Springs, where we always treat you like kings and queens.
Florida's Kids Helping Kids is proud to be hosting the Marion County Fair Winter Carnival. Our chili cook-off for kids is February 26th, as well as our beauty contest. The Marion County Fair will also feature Jimmy Riffle and Sarah from the Gator Boys. It'll have camel rides, pony rides, and a petting zoo. There'll be live entertainment sponsored by our talented local performers. You can save by purchasing your tickets to the fair during a pre-sale by going to dreamland-events.com/upcoming-events-carnival/#Marion. For more information or for vendor space and entertainment schedules, go to MarionCountyFairFL.com. It's the Marion County Fair Winter Carnival, sponsored by Kids Helping Kids.
Now you've done it. Have you lost your mind? He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back to In the Garden with Matt Gardner, Caroline Baldwin. I just played the wrong intro music, that's all.
That's all right.
That's all.
That's quite all right.
Caroline's taking your call. 622-9622 is the number to call if you want to ask her any kind of plant-based question. Although she's pretty versed in all kind of areas.
Yeah, we can. Hey, if I can't baffle you or dazzle you with brilliance, I'll baffle you with BS. Yeah, a little bit of fun. We were talking. I mentioned, when we were off the air that going through Facebook and online things, so YouTube, probably all that. You'll see all these plant hacks or gardening hacks, it's the seed starter kind of things, or here you could get all kinds of plants, no work at all kind of things. And there's one that I always think is kind of funny because the picture on it's starting corn seeds from an ear of corn.
Right.
Well, that ear of corn in that picture is cooked.
So the seed pods are dead.
It's dead, right. If you've ever purchased seed corn to plant, it's not fresh kernel. It's mature and dried to a certain moisture level. And that way you can put 2 or 3 every foot, not taking a dry ear of corn and putting it into soil or water or whatever, trying to sprout them all and planting them all in an 8-inch area, because we know that
people
corn
put it in that
stalks
small area.
Well, I mean that's the picture or that's the video in as one of these hacks. The slice of tomato. Well, I wouldn't want 500 tomato seeds all to come up in one little tiny area to have to then fish apart. If I'm going to do say I have an heirloom tomato and I'm going to save my seed, I'm going to take a tomato and I'm going to take those seeds out. And I'm going to try to wash them off a little bit, but because you got to get that slimy stuff off of them in order to save the seed for the following season. If we're harvesting a tomato in May, we're not going to replant tomato seeds, 3 weeks later, because you won't get a good crop. It's our weather and things like that just don't work for that kind of growing. You're going to save those seeds till August or September. So you will have to do a process in order to clean some of those seeds out. Now, some of the ones really do work. I'm seeing one that's going through right now. They've covered their tray, put their seed starter or cutting starter mix it down into almost like a baking dish, it looks like, and then covered it in saran wrap, cut some little slits in it, and did their cuttings. And that way those cuttings would be held up by that saran wrap. The saran wrap's also holding the moisture down there into the soil, so you're not having to mist it nonstop. So some of them are legitimate and make good sense. The African violet one it's playing right now, that works. Planting African violet by the leaf, you can start a whole new plant doing that. And it, very easily, very successfully, kind of a neat project with kids or with anybody. If you've got one, you can multiply that if you want to do it as gifts. Maybe you have a unique color or leaf style, and it works well.
We're giving chia pets away.
You're doing the chia pets? Yeah, hey, why not? Yeah, you get a bunch of Bob Rosses going out, or the Mandalorians, yeah.
But when you talk about different ways to do things and these hacks and everything, I get a rule of thumb.
Yeah.
If it's too easy, it probably isn't true.
Correct, right. Well, but you know what? There are some that are. Like I said, the African violet one, it's trim the stem, have yourself some nice little starter mix, poke the stem of the leaf in there. You got the leaf sitting up there. Cover, with a baggie, and just so long as that soil's moist, it's going to take root, and it's going to work.
Changing out, a filter or something versus changing out a motor on a dryer is different too. But when you watch the life hacks on it,
it's cleaning out the lint trap is right up there with changing out the motor.
Right.
Or the motor, yeah. But actually changing out the motor isn't that hard if you know.
Well, the video I watched where they had to change out the clutch.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's a little. Yeah.
The guy says you can do this in 15 to 20 minutes.
If you were an experienced
he showed the video and he's doing it and everything.
You could see the cuts.
I'm a video guy.
You could see the cuts.
I didn't even see the cuts. It wasn't even the cuts I saw. I saw the wash machine moving.
Oh, changing
because
positions.
I would see it change, and it's very subtle, but
enough.
It was still
enough. Right. And there were two on here of growing blueberries from seed. For $12 I could buy a plant, and I will get fruit that year.
And
from seed may take me several years.
And
Bananas,
it's a pain in the neck to keep the seeds of a blueberry bush going.
Yeah, to get them started. Here's there's spritzing some banana seed here.
Yeah, just buy a banana tree already going.
And they really don't come up all over inside your planting medium. They come up.
Just buy a
$12
buy a foot tall banana tree.
Yeah, for $12, it's gonna grow and do. Now the moss thing, if you're into wanting moss on flower pots, and this is one
we don't have any moss around here though.
Oh, but you can actually buy green moss. You can buy moss, and you can make more of it. No, you can get.
You can come to my house. I'll give you all the Spanish moss you want.
No, I don't want to grow Spanish moss, but like the green fuzzy moss, you can actually take, if you've got a piece of that, say on a tree or somewhere, or on the back of a flower pot, and you want to do that as a decor kind of thing, you can take a section of that, throw it in. I would probably use a dedicated blender, so that with the ones that make the margaritas aren't in the same blender as your moss, and use some buttermilk and whirl that all up into like a pasty mix, and you can smear it around on your flower pots on the outside. It will grow that moss.
Really?
It will. That's one of that hack I saw years ago on, of all places, Martha Stewart.
Well, it seems you like that hack.
It was kind of a neat thing that, here, mix it up and let it get going. So, take all those kind of things with like a grain of salt, and realize that
a container of salt.
Container of salt, that whole box, slug remover.
God, that was so fun when I was a kid.
Yes, it was.
Slugs would just stop existing.
Yeah, they just.
And I grew up on a marsh bank in Florida.
So you had many of them.
So we had slugs everywhere.
Yeah.
And my mom would come home and go, why are you
this
killing this?
Slime, this slime ball is left,
There'd be 12, 15 slugs laid out in the driveway. Whole box of Morton salt gone. I'd get tore out of the box for wasted salt. Salt's expensive. At one time they used salt as money. I go, but this ain't that one time. No, that would get you tore out the box.
That still got you in trouble for
She didn't like
emptying
that
the box of salt.
She didn't like I knew history better than her. I go, Mom, they hadn't used salt since the Byzantine era. Stop. She didn't like that. She didn't like that.
That's
Especially from a smart aleck 10-year-old.
Good.
Good.
Not a good outcome. Because you just that's why you got in trouble.
But Well, you talk about different things that are easier, that have already been rooted, that have already have been started.
Right.
What are some of the if I'm putting a vegetable garden in, because you can get beans, you can get seed,
or you can get plants.
Yeah, because like Bob Wines now selling 4-packs
of
the plants already
started,
about 6 inches tall.
Right.
What are some of the advantages and disadvantages, seeds versus already started plants?
The already started plants, the great advantage of that is you didn't have to take the time 6 to 8 weeks ago to start them.
To germinate the seed.
To germinate the seed, and having grow light or anything to grow a sturdy enough transplant to put in the garden. These are already started. They're ready to go. You put them in your pot or in your garden, and you're set to go. Anything with a larger seed, to me, squash, green beans, cucumbers, I prefer to start from seed. They're easy to do. And I may start my cucumbers and squash just as to come back as myself in a container, because I only want 3 in that little section. I don't want where you buy them from, generally the monopoly vegetable and herb grower, where you got a 6-inch pot, maybe 6-inch pot, and it's got 12 cucumber plants in it. Well, to do it best, you're going to take out all but 3 or 4.
Right.
So why pay $3.69 for that when for $1.89 I can buy, and I can space them down along my grow area, or put 2 or 3 in a pot together to where I know I can then take and transplant those out into my garden when they've had a chance to grow and get a good start, nice healthy start. And that's another thing, is a little bit of maturity, that you're not having to take that time to grow them to a maturity to put them in the ground, again, that 6-week period. But if you like to experiment with some unusual varieties, you're going to go back to the seed. because that way you can find those in a seed catalog or sometimes off the seed racks in the stores, that you can find heirloom varieties or organic varieties where the seed actually came from an organic grown plant.
But Carol Ann Baldwin, it's getting warm enough now.
Yeah.
I don't have to germinate these in grow lights and everything. I can actually make a little hole in the ground and just stuff them in, and
some of it,
it'll grow.
You can. Yeah, some of it you can. Yeah, you actually can. You could go ahead and put tomato seed, but what tomato seeds are, we've all sliced a tomato, we see how small they are. Can be a little touchy on that, and sometimes your smaller plants are susceptible to cutworms. Well, even some of your transplants can be to cutworms that will just cut them off right at the soil surface. You come out one morning and poof, the plant's on the ground, and you got it ate half the stem. So.
I remember that I had an aunt, and I remember her vividly doing this in Wisconsin when we go up there on vacation. She's like, I'll put 5 or 6 seeds in each hole. Mm-hmm. One of them will take root.
Right.
Is there any sense
to
that?
There was always, when it came, I think corn was the one. It was one for the soil, one for the something, one for the crow, and one to grow.
Okay.
And so it was on something like that when you're, direct seeding into the garden. And of course that was something old where they, you planted a lot of corn in order to have corn for the for the family for the year, because it was canned and things like that. So there is. I mean, when I do squash or cucumbers, I usually plant 3 in a section. I don't go as far as like 5, but usually 3. I have a pretty large size bed that I like to do my squash in, and I'll do 3, maybe 4 spots, each having 3 seeds. I don't do hills. I just because it's a raised bed. It's 12 inches off the ground, and so I just plant right in it, and it's a grow bag. So it drains pretty well. But I'll put 3 seeds in each of 3 or 4 different sections, and that way I know at least one should be coming up and doing well in case I lose one. And some of that is to insect pest problems or disease problems.
Is this a good time to start buying the equipment that you need to start building your tomato cages and stuff like that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, get out there, and you can either buy the commercially put together ones. There's different ones. There's round ones. There's tall ones. There's short ones. There's square ones that'll fold and put away at the end of the season. There's ones that are in colors. So if you like to have yours match your decor, or you have a favorite color. I actually have a couple red ones because red's like my favorite color, and it's for my tomatoes, so it works for me. And a lot of time, and another way to do if you want to make your own is if you have access to concrete reinforcement wire, the stuff with the big 6-inch holes in them. And that works really well because it's like 5 or 6 feet high.
Field fence.
No, not field fence, because you're looking for big holes that your hand will fit through.
Okay.
So you're looking for a bigger, and the concrete reinforcement wire comes in. I want to say it's probably about a 5-foot roll. You just cut the bottom wire off, and then cut it to the length that's going to make and then one edge, and then that way when you poke those feet in the ground, and you bring that wire around and you bend it right on back, and so you've got a nice big cage that you could actually get your hand through.
I understand, and I have big old hands. So.
Yeah.
Good morning, you're on with Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin.
Good morning, guys.
Morning, Hugh.
Hey, I just wanted to remind everybody, which I'm going to do this afternoon. I'm taking my lawnmower in to have it serviced to get a new blade on stuff. And, we'll be cutting lawn here not too far down the road. And if you wait too long, these places get pretty busy. You might be without a lawnmower for a couple of weeks, and that's not a very good thing.
That's true. If you need an oil change or you need to change just an annual service on that, this is a good time. Might actually be getting a little late, but it could be that this is as soon as you could get an appointment because other people thinking the same kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, we got another, I think, month before the grass really starts to grow. So there's a little bit of time left, But I know one time way back, I waited till, like April, and then you get it, but the mower got hung up for a couple of weeks, and when I got the mower back, I used the cycle to cut the grass.
Oh, certainly. Oh, yeah. And again, like you said, changing the blade and that, and here with us, we have some pretty strong, grass that's tough. So you either sharpening the blade or sharpening the blade on an annual basis, and sometimes even more often than that. Commercial guys, I think, sharpen theirs every few days.
Yes.
And so they're replacing blades. They're replacing blades every few months. For us, the homeowner, to sharpen our blades, once or twice a season, replacing the blade probably every couple of years, just gets a better cut, which is healthier for your lawn. A nice sharp blade is healthier for the lawn.
Yeah, a lawnmower blade ain't all that expensive either.
No, they're not.
Because because from experience, when you're cutting your lawn, if you hit a rock or something, you can put a pretty good gash in the blade, and I don't care how much you want to sharpen it. You're just better off buying a brand new blade and be done with it. And it'll do the job perfect.
Exactly. Especially if you have a smaller lawn, I have a push mower or something. That's what I have. I've got like a 21-inch cut push mower, and the blade might cost me $15 or $20. It's nothing to go ahead and have that redone, or do it. If you're able to do it yourself, changing the oil. You got to remember to change the oil. Clean that air filter out, and to clean the air filter is just hot soapy water. Squish it through, rinse it out thoroughly, put a little bit of, you can even use some of your used motor oil when you change the oil, and just put a little bit in there and massage that into that sponge, put it back in. Some of them do have a paper filter. Clean those out every so often, especially if you're in a dustier location or mowing when it's been too dry. Of course, I usually would suggest making sure your grass isn't dry before you're mowing, just as a better benefit to the lawn as well.
Well, right now in the drought we're in there.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we're not quite in a drought condition, but we're quite dry. We're down. I think we've only had 23% of our rainfall, or we're down by 23%. I think we're down by 23%.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what it was. Okay. So.
Well, let's hope we catch up.
Yeah.
So everybody get your lawnmowers ready, because we're going to have one of those great summers again. So
that's it.
You don't want to get caught in a ringer there and have your grass grow up to your kneecaps.
Up to your kneecaps while your mower's in for service. That's right. Thanks, Hugh. Appreciate that.
Okay, thanks, guys. Take care. Bye now.
You will. Yep. You bye. Another thing too is your pruners. We're going to go ahead and start pruning. You can get.
There's nothing worse than a big
dull
set of loppers,
and it's dull, and you're sitting there, and if it's a green branch and you're chewing on that branch with your loppers, it's not doing you any. Yeah, no. That's actually hurting the plant. Your hand pruners, your shovels and stuff. You can actually do a bucket of sand with oil in it, and that'll clean off dirt and rust, and put a little bit of an oil coating on them. That helps to keep them in better shape. So, take a look at what you've got in the, in the shed, in the garage, what your land, all your garden stuff. I never used to be a gardener who wore gloves, but I do now. And that was after I really got into fire ants a few times.
Tore you up?
Oh, yeah. At least with the gloves, you can actually, I don't know if you can sense them or see them before they get to you. And get those gloves off, take a watch, because you figure all winter long they're up underneath that mulch. They're staying warm. They're keeping their humidity level what they need to be. And so you may not find them as you get in there and you're cleaning out the leaves underneath the trees to put fresh mulch and stuff. But I am a believer in gloves. And not just that, our fertilizers, our soils, if you ever read any of the bags,
those
I know
chemicals get on you,
that they tell you to wear gloves. So, it's one of those things when we're doing our pesticides and our herbicides and things like that, is wear gloves. Read that personal protection information. It's meant for your safety as well as your pets and and everybody else.
I think we should take all warning labels off.
And let Darwin's theory work.
Let Darwin's theory just work out.
Yeah. Don't use the iron while wearing the shirt.
All the stupid people would go away.
Yeah. Don't use the curling iron in the shower.
Don't use the curling iron in the shower. Yeah. Don't eat that item.
Right. Don't put the fork in the toaster while it's plugged in. Mm-hmm.
Take all those warning labels off.
And just, And let's see how it goes. I mean, how did we survive this far?
without warning labels.
Without warning labels, yeah. But still, yeah, this is, great time to get all that stuff done. We've got a gorgeous weekend coming up. You can get out there and rake up the yard. You can do some mulching. Usually I would probably put off most of your fertilizations until the 1st of March. We're at the 22nd of February now. So what do we got?
6 days.
We're talking 6 days. So actually come this weekend, you're probably not too early to go ahead and if this is when you've got off in order to start that fertilization, check your irrigation systems.
Can we start pruning this weekend?
I know we've pruned crepe myrtles. If you've needed to prune those, that's okay. The roses, go ahead and prune those. I would, take a look and see, trim down maybe a little bit and give it a chance. If you're redoing, don't go ripping the stuff out that got burnt, because there's a good chance it'll come back. It just takes time for them to recover.
When is a good time? Because I've noticed around town and around the golf course and everything, the weather really wreaked havoc on the pond fronds.
Yes.
On palm trees.
Palm trees, yes.
When is a good time to go up and start clipping all the brown out of those?
The best time is when they actually are totally brown, because they're still feeding the tree if they're green.
Right.
If the tips are just brown, I mean, that's nature.
No, I've seen where it's just
totally
the
brown.
whole lollipop top of it is brown.
Is brown. If it's brown, again, it is protecting the core of it, that spike that's coming up. But if it's totally brown, you might want to do it and keep an eye on the tree that makes sure that it's going to come back out.
Yeah, because there's a couple 60-foot tall ones. On my way home, they're just solid brown.
Oh, wow, that's not cool. They're probably queens.
Yeah, they're solid brown at the top. But I mean, think about it. If the ground temperature was 28 degrees,
what was it up
what
that
was
high?
It 40, 50 feet, 60 feet up?
Right. What was it way up there in the sky? Oh yeah, and that's our measure.
But with trunks that long and everything, they're fine. They're not dead.
They shouldn't be.
Right. But sometimes
they are. And we are at that northernmost limit where the queens and the robolinis do really well because they're not extremely cold hardy.
Right.
They're pretty good, but when we get a winter like this, it's sometimes, with robolinis being multi-trunk, sometimes people will lose one trunk off of that, and that's okay. Pull that out. It's going to make more.
You know the one palm tree though that came through it with no problem. Sagos.
Some people with sagos that were really out in the open, those can get burned as well.
Oh, okay. Well, I haven't seen any of those. But most of the sagos in my neighborhood now are underneath canopies.
Right.
Carol Ann, we got about a minute and a half. Have we missed anything, or you want to cover anything going into?
I don't. I think we're probably pretty good on that. Yeah, you've got the In the Garden Facebook group page. If you've got a question we didn't get covered, hit me up on that, or find me at work down there at Lowe's, and ask for me. They'll point me out.
You got to ask to become a member of the Facebook.
You do have to ask to become a member of the page, but I think I've only ever turned down a few people, and it was like, I don't think
you can tell they're clones or whatever.
Yeah, clones or it's like, why would you have any interest in this? You don't live in the state, and all the rest of your group pages have nothing to do with gardening.
Stalker.
Yeah. So.
Stalker.
Don't be stalkers.
So you're at the Lady Lake Lowe's.
Lady Lake Lowe's and the In the Garden Facebook group page.
And either place is a good place to either come see you personally or ask questions on In the Garden. How long's your response time usually on In the Garden?
On the In the Garden, I try to hit it up within the day because I'll usually see it as a notification. I'll try to get to it. Sometimes if I miss it, it might be a day or two, but usually pretty quick.
Carol Ann Baldwin, she's here every Tuesday with us in the garden with Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin, answering your questions about your gardens, your lawns, your plants, your trees, anything that you have along with those. Carol Ann Baldwin gives advice every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Carol Ann, talk to you next week.
Yep, see you then.
Coming up next, it's Sunrise Auto Repair with Personal Care with Matt Gibbs from Sunrise Auto. I'm a little bit lighter in the pocket, but I'm a little safer now because of Sunrise Auto. We'll talk about that next on WOCA The Source.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
Russia has sent troops and equipment into the Separatist region of eastern Ukraine. Under the guise of peacekeepers, UN Representative for the United States Linda Thomas-Greenfield calls out Putin's departure from international law.
He calls them peacekeepers. This is nonsense. We know what they really are. It is an attack on Ukraine's status as a UN member state. It violates a basic principle of international law, and it defies our charter.
The world is reacting to Vladimir Putin's land grab of a sovereign nation. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz announced he has taken steps to halt the process of certifying the Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline from Russia over the Ukraine invasion. The United States has stopped all business dealings from the invaded areas in eastern Ukraine. Saying it is necessary, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has extended his emergency powers in ruling Canada. USA Radio News.
Fever is a potential sign of COVID or the flu, and the Exergen temporal scanner thermometer has been proven accurate with more than 100 clinical studies. Be vigilant and seek medical advice at the first sign of fever. Be accurate with Exergen. Exergen temporal scanners, available at Walmart and other fine retailers. Learn more at Exergen.com. That's EXERGEN.com. Exergen is changing the way the world takes temperature.
Hola, Carla speaking. Carla's roofing company always goes above and beyond.
Yeah, we heard about next week's forecast.
She needs a new foreman to weather a storm of projects.
You mean another full crew before Wednesday? Mira, Jose, can you work Wednesday?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
The nationwide program helping restore and sustain healthy natural ecosystems. That's coming up on This Land of Ours.
I'm Agriculture Commissioner Nikki Freed. Everyone knows Florida grows the world's best produce. From citrus to strawberries, watermelon to blueberries, our produce growers feed our families and the world. With over $125 million in annual revenue for growers, the Fresh from Florida program helps Florida farmers stay competitive in a tough marketplace. Learn more at followfreshfromflorida.com.
The 5th Annual Georgia Citrus Association Conference takes place on February 28th in Tifton. Hosted by the Georgia Citrus Association, the conference is the perfect place for growers to get the latest on crop insurance, food safety, regenerative farming, organic growing, nutrition, winter protection, and new citrus varieties. The Georgia Citrus Association is growing, and now is the time to become involved. Tickets are $50 if you pre-register and $60 at the door. Limited vendor space and sponsorships are available. Visit georgiacitrusassociation.org to register today.
The National Resources Conservation Service operates 25 plant materials centers, each based in ecologically distinct areas. The purpose of the Plant Material Center is to assemble, evaluate, and release new plant materials for conservation use, as well as determining techniques for their successful use, providing for their commercial increase, and promoting the use of plant materials needed to meet the objectives of the National Conservation Program. Every year, an annual report is published with new plant materials developments, studies. As a whole, the reports can serve as a gauge of what resource needs are predominant in a particular area of the country and/or provide an illustration of the breadth of activities that occur at plant material centers. More information can be found at nrcs.usda.gov. I'm Kathy Asim, Southeast AgNet.
When it really counts, depend on the source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
Today will be mostly sunny with a high of 82 to 85, then clear skies tonight, low 64 to 68. Wednesday will be partly sunny and very warm, high tomorrow 83 to 87. Then Thursday will be mostly sunny with a high of 85 to 89. Partly sunny Friday, high on Friday 84 to 88. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holdren.
You know what you want to do in retirement, but do you know how to get there? Join Gary and Don Crawford of Pinnacle Retirement Advisors for Retirement with Pinnacle, Saturday mornings at 9 to get answers to your retirement planning questions. Plan today so you can do the things you've always dreamt about doing in retirement. Don't miss Retirement with Pinnacle with Gary and Don Crawford, Saturday mornings at 9. Firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
This hour of Ocala Talks is brought to you in part by Blockers Furniture. Go see all their specials at blockersfurniture.com.
Auto repair with personal care. We know what we're talking about. Matt Gibbs and the guys over at Sunrise Automotive will treat you right. We'll treat you right.
That's right. It's auto repair with personal care from Sunrise Auto. Fresh back from battery recharge. Matt Gibbs joins us. Matt, good morning.
Morning.
Your battery's all set. Your interstate battery's recharged. You ready to go?
I'm ready to go. I am ready to go.
You know, 2 weeks ago, I was supposed to bring my Cadillac to you to get a brake job done.
Yep.
And you came in that day and go, I hope you didn't come to the shop. I kind of forgot that I was supposed to meet you there at 7 o'clock. And I go, well, no worries. I kind of forgot I was supposed to meet you there at 7 o'clock. So you then go to vacation because you had a vacation plan, a few days R&R.
Yep.
And Sunday night, I go, oh, no, he's in Mexico. I forgot all about that. Because this is what I hear. As I pull up to a light, I hear something. My wife's listening to the radio. I shut the radio off. Quiet. She goes, what? What is going on? I go, I'm listening. She goes, what are you listening for? I said, shh, I'm listening. So I pull off and I hit the brakes. That's what I hear. I go, uh-oh. That's metal on metal. Even a guy that's never worked on a car in his life, he knows metal on metal ain't good.
Never is.
Never is. So we missed it by a week, Matt. If we'd have, a week earlier, we'd have never had metal on metal. How much damage can a brake system be caused to an automobile if you don't immediately? And I say immediately. It's Sunday night. It was Tuesday morning. I had to take care of. So for the rest of Sunday night and on Monday, I had to ride around metal on metal. How much damage can you do?
Well, you can do some damage. I mean, in your case, we were going to replace the rotors regardless.
Yeah, they were going to get replaced regardless.
But what you can do is you can actually damage the calipers,
which is what I was worried about.
And apparently, apparently we didn't do that. And,
no, we did not.
And
luckily, because that then makes the price tag go up quite a bit.
So and here's the other thing, we know, like if we were going to go push, we had to push the pistons back in to put the new pads on, and if they got real hot, there's a little rubber boot, and so if the boot's cracked, we got to replace them. If we go to push the pistons back in and they don't go in, we would have had to replace them. And every once in a while, we'll get into a situation where the piston will go in okay, but then when we do the brakes and we take it for a test drive, a lot of times the piston will come out and it won't return back in, and we got to replace them. So, but I refuse just to sell you those calipers until I know that that's going to happen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Most people would have said, they would come out and show
metal
you
on metal. Oh no, we got to
replace these hoses and these calipers because you got to replace the hoses because we're replacing the calipers and
$1,000.
Yeah, and then it goes on and on and on and on and on. And sometimes we have to do those things because there's a failure there.
But it's not something. A lot of places it would be automatic when they see metal on metal. They just we're replacing it all.
Yeah, it would be automatic. And it doesn't have to be that way.
And a lot of people don't know that, though. A lot of people think metal on metal. He says, I've destroyed my brake system. I got to replace it all.
Yeah, and and you don't have to do much convincing when you come out and show this rotor. I've seen rotors, Tom. I've seen the whole surface of the rotor gone, and there's just ribs.
Right.
And I've seen them.
That's on metal for a while.
That's metal on metal on the metal of the metal.
Right.
I've seen them so far that the piston will pop out of the caliper.
Well, mine couldn't have been too good because it got you a call in Cabo.
Yes,
you got a phone call in Cabo going, Matt, his rotors are gone.
Toast.
And you were like, yeah, we knew that. We're replacing all of them. Because mine was a little unique situation. I knew even if I was damaging the rotors were going anyway.
Right.
Because they were warped and they weren't in good shape.
Right.
Because they'd been worked on a couple times before.
Right.
But now you say that's not even a common practice anymore. Where it just makes as much sense, if not more sense, to just replace the rotors every time.
Yeah, it's getting to the material that they're using. It's becoming these composite type metals where they don't turn well. A lot of the European cars, you don't turn those. We have to have special adapters to do some of the Ford stuff. So it's almost becoming. Matter of fact, I'm a Snap-on guy.
You are.
All right, I'll throw that out for Snap-on. You know, I've been buying Snap-on.
Well, if you're
tools.
a good mechanic, you should be only a Snap-on guy.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
And I've been buying the Snap-on dealer here in town. I've been buying tools from him since I was 16 years old.
He buys you a Christmas gift
every year. Just
exactly.
I've come a Weber grill with Snap-on on
right.
it.
That's what I'm saying.
And but anyway. I've bought over the 25 years of being in business. I bought 2 brake lathes. One was used, one was new, and it's time. It's almost time for another brake lathe.
And you're considering maybe not buying one.
I don't know where to buy one. I mean, Amco is like the only one, I guess, that
Snap-on doesn't even sell it.
They don't even make a brake lathe anymore.
Well, there you go. Good morning. You're on Sunrise Auto with Matt Gibbs.
Yeah, good morning, guys.
Morning, Hugh.
Say, with your brakes, before you get down to the metal where the damage can happen, isn't there supposed to be like a little warning thing in there that makes a little squealing noise to let you know that you got to have a brake job?
Yeah, there sure is. Tom, do you want to answer that question, brother?
There's a little squealing noise. I don't know that little would be the word I would describe it, but you know, here's the thing. You hear that squealing noise. Here's the thing about what Hugh just asked. You can hear that squealing noise if you're not riding around with your Bose system on about 25, jamming out the Led Zeppelin and AC/DC. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
if you're listening to Led Zeppelin and AC/DC
it's
on
all
your
part of the
Bose
song.
system pretty loud, the squealing you don't hear that a whole lot.
Say, with that little warning device, how many miles do you have before you got to go in and get it fixed?
Well, so here's the deal. There's no way of knowing. Let's say you're down to the indicator, and a dog runs out in front of you. You know, there you go. You're done then. You know, so it's just so hard to tell, especially with brakes. That's why. We try to do anything under 4 millimeters. The pad under 4 millimeters, it's toast.
Which is exactly what happened to me, Hugh. What Matt said. I'm driving down the boulevard, and had to get on the brakes pretty hard because a motorcycle came out.
There you go.
And I had to get on the brakes pretty hard. Then at the next stoplight, I started hearing metal grinding.
Right.
So it could have happened. I could have went. I may have been able to get to Tuesday without getting on without metal to metal, except I had to put it to the floor to stop from hitting the motorcycle on the boulevard. The very next light, I heard metal on metal.
Yep. and that's how it is.
Okay, well, I'm not hearing any metal on metal noise, but normally when you go for oil change, you have your brake lining checked, real quick when it's up on the rack and stuff, and they can usually tell right away whether or not your brake lining is getting down or not. So it's probably a very unusual thing to happen,
Well, I think that people get metal on metal a lot more than you think they do.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Because life gets in the way and you get busy. I mean, mine were at 40% a year ago, about 9 months ago. So I knew at 40% it was going to get, next 9-10 months, it was going to be down around 5%. And usually my percentage is when I get an oil change, if the guys tell me, hey, you got about 5% brake pad, it's time to get a brake job.
Yeah.
5% is usually my cutoff. But this time I had to do an oil change in a quickie, and I had to go through one of these 10-minute oil changes, and they didn't look at my brake pads.
Right.
And so.
Yeah. Well, I would imagine if you do, like I myself, I probably do about 95% city driving, so my brakes are being used quite a bit, so I got to really be on the ball as far as making sure that I don't have a problem, right?
Yeah.
Well, I use people's bumpers a lot to stop, so, it's not that big a deal for me. It's not that big a deal for me.
I have used a tree or two.
Yeah, you know, so. Thanks for the call, Hugh.
Okay, guys. Yeah, thanks. Thank you. Take care, guys.
See you, Hugh.
So I got to ask you, and it is car related, but it's not car fixing related.
Okay.
But I know you're well versed, so I know that you know a thing or two. Did you even watch the race this weekend?
I did. I watched the last 25 laps.
I'm not that next gen car. I still don't know about this car yet or not.
I don't know about the whole NASCAR sport and everything. I don't know, man. It's just different.
It is. It's different.
I can't remember. Here's my problem. I watched the Daytona 500, and there wasn't an Earnhardt, I don't think, in the race, was there?
Not an Earnhardt anywhere in the race.
It's almost like
21 years ago, February 18th, 21 years ago, is when Mike France went to the podium and we lost Dale Earnhardt.
It was how many years? That many
21 years ago. And it still about choked me up just then.
I remember that race.
It was not a good day. And it was such a nothing wreck. You didn't think, you were like, oh, they spun him out. He hit the wall. Big deal.
I know.
It didn't look like it was anything. And we lost Dale Earnhardt.
Do you remember who won that race?
Michael Waltrip.
He sure did.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. finished second. Dale Earnhardt was blocking for him.
That's right.
That's where he got bumped. And Ryan Newman's the one that put him in the wall.
I thought it was Sterling Marlin.
Was it Sterling Marlin? I thought it was Ryan Newman. But it was
because I wanted to hurt Sterling Marlin for a long time.
nobody thought what happened was that big a deal.
No, it wasn't.
I've seen that
worse races.
That wreck that happened at the last lap of the Xfinity race on Saturday night was much worse than what Dale Earnhardt died from. Much worse.
Yeah.
Man, those safer barrier cars, those cars now are so safe. Because that car on Saturday night, I don't know if you saw the Xfinity race, but on Saturday night.
I saw the crash.
Yeah, on Saturday. I mean, that car was the motor. People were like, where's the motor? They had to go find the motor and bring it back and everything. He just stepped right out of the roll cage. But that's all that now basically with those cars, because they moved the seat to the center and everything.
Yep.
It's one small roll cage with just car that can tear around you away, and you're just on like an e-ticket ride from Disney World for a few minutes.
Well, that's like the Indy cars. They're designed to just explode.
People think, oh God, no, they're designed to just become particle.
That's right. They are taking the
inertia
hit.
of the hit. They're designed to get it away from the human in the car.
Yep.
And I mean, so I don't know. I liked back in the day when if a Dodge showed up, it was a Dodge. And when a Ford showed up, it was Ford. When a Chevrolet showed up, it was a Chevrolet. I mean, there's something to be said. And I know why NASCAR started doing all this. Because back in the day when you raced what you brought, well, Richard Petty always brought better than everybody else.
That's right.
He had more money than everybody else. So, and Chrysler Mopar was giving him more money.
Yep.
And if you did it that way today, bring what you got, Richard Childress would win everything. I mean, he already is winning everything, but he'd really win everything because of how set up he is. But there was something to be said when Petty would put that Mopar on the track with that big bar on the back of it and everything, and just say, Cale, you can't catch me.
Right. See you later, boys.
The Wood Brothers. David, you and the Wood Brothers need to pick it up. It was good to see the Wood Brothers 21 out on the track, though, with the gold metallic number like it used to have and everything. I was a big David Pearson fan.
Oh, were you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Big David Pearson fan. My dad was, so that pretty much meant
I used to watch every race, man. I used to be a diehard NASCAR fan, and
before it became a engineering students race.
It's like it's definitely different. It's definitely different.
It's like and you're gonna laugh at this. Every time they go to interview one of those guys, everything, all I see is the little chicken with the big glasses that Foghorn was trying to teach to hit a baseball. And he went over to the board, and he figured it out with math, and he came back and hit the baseball. That's what these drivers seem to me.
Yeah.
It's not about who, and it does take guts and everything, don't get me wrong, but they got it down to such precision now, and it's all mathematics, that it takes the muscle out of the car, really.
Yeah, and restrictor plates into big tracks, and slowing them down. I would like to see them. Maybe they can make the cars a little bit safer, make it stick a little bit harder, and then unrestrict them more.
That wouldn't be a bad idea.
That would, and because it's like they get into the single file line and
see Chase try to go faster than his daddy did at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Fastest lap that Bill Elliott did was at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, and like 210 miles an hour. That might have been a little dangerous back then. Might have been a little dangerous. Bill had it on the track though. It was, but you're right. It's the first time I think it was the 57th running, and I think it's the first time in 51 years, or last year may have been the first time. No, because Earnhardt was in it last year. Junior ran one race, so yeah, maybe this year may have been the first time in 50 or 51 years that Earnhardt wasn't in the.
I know it's kind of
wasn't in the race, because people forget there was an Earnhardt before Dale.
That's right.
Lee was pretty good.
Yeah, that's right.
People forget Lee was pretty good.
Yeah, there's been. I mean, ever since I can remember, ever since I was a kid, there's been an Earnhardt.
Well, yeah.
And now there's no Earnhardt.
No. 43 cars still there though.
Yeah. Well, the three cars still there.
Yeah, three cars still there. But
Austin Dillon's driving.
Driving the brakes off of it.
Yeah. And I'm glad. I was glad for Richard Childress and being Austin Dillon. I would have hoped he would have been a little bit more intimidating.
But he's not.
He's not.
Well, none of them are anymore.
No one did.
The last real intimidator out of the group was in the booth this year. And I'm sorry. And I like smoke and all. But that whole Gumba suit he had on, looking like he just walked out of central casting for an Italian mafia movie, and that hair slicked back and everything. I go, you're a fat kid from Indiana. What are you? You're dressed like Steve Martin in My Blue Heaven. What is going on?
Yeah, I was like, I knew his voice, but then I'm like, man, Tony, don't do that to yourself.
I mean, is this the same guy that said, I'm going to bust his ace? I don't think it was.
I saw. Matter of fact, I only saw the last 25 laps, but I did see that.
Oh, I looked at that suit. I said, man, somebody gave you bad advice. And then the hair with the ducktail and everything. I go,
he should have just went ahead and did a mullet and just did the whole thing, man.
Danny Zuko called. He wants his hairstyle back. Yeah, Tony went retro on us.
Yeah.
Smoke went retro on us.
Yep.
God. And they were so, you know what, the pre-race. Now, he's downstairs for the pre-race. Then he went upstairs. This is my problem, Matt, and you'll understand immediately what I mean. So they're sitting there. It's him and I forget who all was sitting down there, but Tony's sitting right there next to this guy that comes up. And they're going to interview a current NASCAR driver. And
that's pretty sad when we don't even know who the current NASCAR
No, I do.
Oh, okay,
I know who it was.
Okay.
And here he comes. And they're previewing it. And I go, I know they're going to set him next to Tony. They're not going to set him next to Tony. They come back on stage, and there he is, right next to Tony. And Tony's being nice to him and telling how he knows he's a great driver and everything. I go, how the hell is Tony saying that about Joey Logano?
Oh, my God. I'm surprised you didn't reach over and punch him.
That's what I thought. I know they're going to set him next to Tony. Tony will hit him. Tony was saying how good a driver he was and how I know you're always, when you're out there, you're always aggressive, and that's good for a driver to be and everything. And I thought, how many times he threatened this kid's life? And now he's sitting here gushing all over him being I almost turned it off. Because I was like,
isn't that? But so, and I've been involved in racing to some degree with my kids and whatnot, and that's like on race day, they can't stand each other.
No, and there's no way. Even if Tony was dressed up in that suit and all, he still had to have. It's 500. There had to be some animosity.
Oh, absolutely.
Had to be. But they were gushing on each other like they were best friends.
But so like okay, when Jeff Gordon came out on the picture, people couldn't stand Jeff Gordon, but they loved Dale Earnhardt.
Right.
But Earnhardt taught Jeff Gordon a whole lot of what he knows.
Earnhardt really liked Jeff Gordon.
And they really liked Jeff Gordon.
Really liked him a lot.
A lot.
Yeah. People didn't get that Earnhardt really of the people at track, Dale gave his respect to Jeff Gordon really fast when Jeff Gordon came up and stayed that way through the time that Dale passed away.
That's right. And so so I had the privilege of actually going to Darrell Waltrip's house. So Darrell and Dale were really good friends, and I got to hear some stories about when Dale called Darrell to apologize for several races that Darrell was leading, and
then he wasn't.
And Dale put him in the wall.
Well, you know what Earnhardt used to say? Earnhardt said, "I've never wrecked anybody in my career. I race one line, the line that's best for me. If you get in that line, I move you out of that line. But I don't wreck you. I just move you out of the line I'm running."
Right, and that's what he did.
That's what he said. I don't want to upset a man that's passed and everything. And that's wrecking people.
That's right. Yeah. Hey, if you ain't rubbing, you ain't racing, buddy.
Oh, he used to say, I don't wreck people. They get in my line, and I move them out of my line. Which is what I want to do sometimes with people that can't count 10 items in a line at the grocery store. They get in my line, and I want to move them out of my line.
Hey, I've been going to the self-checkout thing. I'm getting good at that. My wife has taught me how to do self-checkout.
You know why I won't go to self-checkout? They ain't cutting me no check.
Well, that's true, but by golly, I don't have to sit there for an extra 15 minutes. I get out quicker.
Well, you do get out quicker, but
you
ain't paying me.
I agree.
So,
and there's all kinds of noise and things happening over
well,
there.
the jet just landed. Now the helicopter's taking off. We got all kinds of stuff going on. But yeah, I knew that you would find humor, because I know you didn't see the pre-race.
No.
That Fox rolls Joey Logano right up there on stage, sets him right next to Tony, and they gush on each other about how great Joey Logano is.
I wonder if Fox was really anticipating Tony whacking him one good time, and it just didn't happen.
That's what I was thinking.
I mean, that would have MMA /
That's what I was thinking. Hey, Tony, Joey Logano's here next to me. Whack! What'd you do that for? Now we can interview him.
Yeah, I was up. It was my turn.
Because there's not been more animosity between drivers than those two in a long time. I mean, Tony had disdain for him. Just
Joey Logano's dad got in it with him one time.
I know.
He jumped into the picture.
That's why I was sitting there going, "Are you kidding me right now? Are you? Is that suit really that bad?" It was a bad.
It was
pretty
awful.
It was not. It was. Oh, Jamie McMurray was up there too. Jamie McMurray was on the stage. It was kind of ridiculous.
And the other thing I don't understand is Clint Boyer is now doing announcing.
Yeah.
I remember when Clint Boyer didn't even know how to speak English.
I know. He
was awful.
He was terrible. Now he's an announcer, and his kid's racing pretty good.
Yeah.
His kid got put in the wall by the other idiot, Keselowski. Between Logano and Keselowski, there's not a. I wouldn't give both of them a plug nickel.
Not even a plug nickel.
No, to me they are the but and then who was it that they were talking about NASCAR the teams that were owned by Michael Jordan and everything.
Yeah.
And Pitbull and everything, and Pitbull had the audacity to go, "Well, I fell in love with Days of Thunder. That's how I really liked the movie."
Well,
that's how I got into NASCAR, was Days of Thunder.
Wow, there you go.
So a movie where you can spin out flat your tires and flat spot your tires with 10 laps to go, still race back to the front and win. No, you can't.
Right.
But in Days of Thunder, you can.
I was actually, me and my wife were at the Daytona Speedway
when they were filming that. When Dick Trickle was being Cole Trickle.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt, where can they find you?
You can come by and see me at 1800 Northwest 10th Street, or give me a call at 352-690-1993.
Matt Gibbs of Sunrise Auto. It's auto repair with personal care every Tuesday right here taking your calls. Thanks to Hugh for calling in and asking about the whining noise that brakes make when you get close to the path. Thanks, Hugh. Wait. My wife was not aware of that, Hugh. Thanks. Now she knows. We'll be right back after this timeout. 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA. The Source.
are all
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
Russia has sent troops and equipment into the Separatist region of eastern Ukraine. Under the guise of peacekeepers, UN Representative for the United States Linda Thomas-Greenfield calls out Putin's departure from international law.
He calls them peacekeepers. This is nonsense. We know what they really are. It is an attack on Ukraine's status as a UN member state. It violates a basic principle of international law, and it defies our charter.
The world is reacting to Vladimir Putin's land grab of a sovereign nation. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz announced he has taken steps to halt the process of certifying the Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline from Russia over the Ukraine invasion. The United States has stopped all business dealings from the invaded areas in eastern Ukraine. Saying it is necessary, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has extended his emergency powers in ruling Canada. USA Radio News.
If you're like most Americans, you're pretty much in disbelief with what's going on in the world. As we all know, global problems are having local consequences. Too many of them. And if the peanut butter really hits the fan, are you ready? Grocery store supply chains are only as strong as their weakest link. Don't wait for